BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy hoy. Welcome to episode 609. It's like 69 with a big old hole in the middle of it. BRB UK.
Whoa.
It's true.
He went
609. It's like 69, big old hole in the middle. It's true. Check it out. You can write it down. Write it down, Tim. Write it down.
No.
You'll see that I'm talking sense. You scared to write the number 609 down lest it introduce filthy, dirty thoughts into your mind?
Yes.
Wow, okay. Coleman, how do you feel about the number 609?
It's like a 69, but leaving room for Jesus.
There we go.
Whoa.
Coat, mince, and margarine slip him right up there. You wouldn't know he's there. It's lovely.
Oh, good. We've offended all Christians straight away. That's
Hooray!
great. Good start to the
Finally.
show. Well done. I guess it's
It's alright,
better
it's
than
Muslims next
all
week.
French people or whatever.
I mean, to be fair, some of them are Christians as well, so we have succeeded in offending French people as well.
I just mean there's probably more Christians than French people, like overall.
Probably, but, I'm just playing the numbers. It's easier to offend more people by saying that than just going,
Don't play with my numbers, especially if it's a 609.
Ubisoft.
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 Ubi.
609.
Ubisoft Siev.
The position with Anyway.
Yeah.
Now that
Pulling
we're
that back from the
completely
brink.
banned from YouTube.
Tim, you're very prudish about these things. Tim is surprisingly prudish. Don't you think, Coleman?
I mean, I
Tim-
think
Tim
more
is
so
a
when
bit
it's you
at
having the
times.
conversation for some
What?
reason, Dan. But,
Why? Why does that make it worse?
I
We're
don't
all
know.
grown up,
It
men.
does.
We can talk about these things. It's fine. We ought to share these things. It's good.
I mean, to be fair, I think
What?
Tim has quite a large Christian client base for his work.
That's
How
also
many
true.
of them listen to this show, though?
The Venn
All of them.
diagram is fairly separate on those
I mean,
two
by
things.
Tim having a large Christian
Vicatary.
client
By
base, you make
design,
him sound
you may
like some
say.
kind of evangelist preacher.
There's a
Stand at
nunnery
the
down the
pulpit,
road.
Hello, he
They all
said,
listen.
it is okay,
Take
for it
thee
is
to a
parody
nunnery.
law. I can put whatever I want on a T-shirt.
Yes. As long as it's not offending Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure Jesus isn't
That's
that
why you
offended.
leave room for him.
Yes.
Good point. Well made.
Pop him in.
Good.
Always leave room
Day
for
out for him.
Jesus.
Poor old Jesus. If he doesn't have such
Anyone listening to
excitement-
this?
What?
Anyone
No.
listening to this?
No, no more. Anyway.
Just the clergy.
Yeah. Oh, video games. Sorry, I just saw what popped up on chat. Nitwit, if you 69 enough, the Venn diagram becomes one single hole.
Whoa.
Good.
And that added on
Lovely.
to his previous comment as well. But anyway, let's carry on. Let's talk some video
Shall we?
games.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah,
Video
there are several
games.
video games to speak about. I have been busy trying to move out of Slough this week, so I haven't had a chance to play
That is a
much.
good thing to focus your attentions on.
I figured it would be a good
Definitely
thing to finally
worthy.
focus my attention on.
Why would you
Um,
ever leave, Dan?
Why would I ever leave? Because I don't want to get stabbed to death before the age of
No.
46.
That's
So-
that's not the punchline. I found the road. I found the road out. Yeah.
I would argue that's not a punchline either, but okay.
Pretty,
Anyway,
pretty good.
so I
I've got
haven't
it from
had a chance to
Bottom
play
Live,
much.
I believe.
but I'm going to
Well, yeah.
live vicariously. through
Literally
video
scraping
gaming
the bottom.
habits. Yes. Whoa, no, that's 69 again, Tim. We're going to be. I'm going to be living vicariously through the video gaming habits of my two co-hosts in the
Mm-hmm.
form of Coleman and Tim. And Tim, just because Coleman has a better ability to shorten what he says for time, I'm going to come
And
to
a
you
better
first.
game.
Yes. Mechwarrior
How dare
5 clans. Now, I'm a bit
Yeah.
surprised that you've been. I didn't have you down as a Mechwarrior kind of fan. I kind of thought this all seems a bit too simmy and fiddly for you.
But you're forgetting one thing, Dan.
Yep.
What? Menus.
He's a-
Menus.
Tim is
Menus.
Tim is a Game Pass fan.
Yes,
Oh,
that
this
is
true.
also
and
true.
it is on the Game Pass.
Yeah.
Tis.
And that's where I've been playing it. Possibly partly because I was clearing up space for COD Blops coming out this week. And so in doing so, I was like, oh, what else is out on Game Pass? Oh, Mechwarrior. Oh, I'll give that a go. I like a mech game. And I don't think I've necessarily spoken about this particularly much on the podcast in recent years, just because I haven't really had a mech game that I've particularly picked up and played and got into. And as you say, this is slightly more on the sim heavy road. The other thing that attracted my attention to this was confusion. I confused this with another game, and it took me a while to work out where my confusion came from. What game were you
confusing it with, Tim?
I think there was an earlier Mechwarrior that was on Xbox that I didn't play particularly much, but a load of my friends got into, and my flatmate at the time was like online playing with stuff. And it was when Xbox Live first came out on the 360. They were into it quite a lot. Yep.
I heard something cool happened in 2005. Maybe I should check that out. Is basically what that comes
exactly.
Down to.
Never too late to the fight. But
that's how I got into Psychonauts.
I thought this was like a good online game that I might be able to play with some of those friends as well, basically. So that was part of the thing, because a couple of them have got Game Pass as well, so I could possibly play with them. But it took me a while to work out that was not a previous Mechwarrior game, because they were mainly on PC. It was a thing called Mech Assault, as I checked on what's the name. And that was originally as Mech Assault 2 that came out afterwards. And that was the one that my friends played lots and stuff like that. So this is slightly different to that, basically. But I would say that Mechwarrior 5 Clans, which is the version I've been playing, it doesn't necessarily create the best first impression out of the gate, basically. Like,
how so?
Presentation-wise and graphically, it's quite good and quite attractive, and that I don't really have a problem with.
That'd be a good first impression.
That would be a good first impression, but that was like the initial like grand graphic. But in terms of gameplay and playing through the game, there's a couple of things that I think it missteps on that make it a bit more inaccessible. As you say, it is more on the sim heavy side, and it kind of doesn't hold your hand through a couple of things. The first couple of missions are like training missions where it does a reasonable job of guiding you through what's going on. But then it kind of drops you into the main portion of the game where you've got lots of menus, which, I'm generally a fan of. But they don't really do a very good job of leading you through that and going, right, this is what you should be doing now. This is what you should be doing with your mech. It's more like, here's not quite everything, because not everything's unlocked at first, so they do pass it out a little bit. But here's you're in at the deep end, I hope you know what you're doing, good luck, kind of thing.
So the old giant robot swimming pool conundrum is what you're making
so that was a bit confusing, and I felt like I don't really know what I'm doing here. I can see there's a maximum tonnage that I'm allowed for the combined weight of my squad.
Very sizist.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they make you wear it? Do they body shame your mech with a wide load sticker on its butt if you go over the weight limit?
There's a fairly common thing of like light, medium, and heavy mechs, and you don't have access to the heavy mechs to start with, and your team has you in a medium mech and your squad mates in light mechs. And I should say that it kind of phrases the game in you have a squad of 5 of you, which it refers to as a star. So there's the 5 points of the star type thing, kind of making up the thing. So they generally refer to you as a star commander, because you are the commander of the 5-member team of your mech assault, your mech warriors in their big mech suits, basically. So it has an individual max tonnage, max weight that you can have for each like kind of chassis that can take a maximum of different combination of different weapons and armor and stuff like that. But then you also have each mission has a maximum tonnage that you can bring in terms of the mechs that are available to you and the weight that you give to them as well, basically. So that maximum tonnage tends to increase as you go through the missions. But what it doesn't do a good job of is kind of saying, you should be concentrating on putting more armor on this, or you should upgrade or change a weapon and stuff like that. It kind of drops you in a little bit at the deep end, and that doesn't give you too much guidance. The other couple of things that...
So it kind of expects you just to know how to build craft in the right way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I found that I appreciated what it was doing a lot more when I'd gone away and done a bit of research and watched a couple of videos. There's a YouTuber called TTB, I think his name is, that does some good videos on this is a good build to do early on in the game. This is a good build to do later on in the game. And he helps kind of guide you through. And so I'm watching a couple of his videos. I got a much better overall idea but it could do with a couple of like in-game videos or, things of guidance of helping you kind of go, this is the kind of thing you should be doing to start with. So that felt like I was a bit dropped in at the deep end.
So does it kind of like if you just crash and burn, pretty much literally, does it kind of give you like feedback on the respawn screen? Hey, look, here are some are you getting your ass kicked in this way? You might want to try, investing more tonnage in shield or armor or stuff like that.
No, but overall the actual training missions were a bit harder than the first few missions that you're going in. The final training mission, it's you up against two other mechs that are like Reason Cart, and you got to kill both of them before your mech dies, basically, which was actually a bit harder. I found a little bit more difficult than the initial few missions. The initial few missions do kind of like don't feel massively challenging, and there's you and your squad. One of the things that I found about the squad thing, like it's good when you can direct them and get them to do stuff, but getting used to that while also getting used to your initial mech takes a bit of getting used to. But the worst thing was that in close proximity firefights, they don't really do a good job of staying out of your line of fire. And they get them crossing over my line of fire as I'm shooting at something in front of me and then going, hey, I'm on your team. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but you literally just walked in front of my line of fire when I couldn't see you before you did, kind of thing. The other thing that didn't create a good first impression with me was the fact that yeah, but it's got an in-cockpit view and it's got a kind of third-person view. And I prefer in a mech game to play in the in-cockpit view, especially as I'm used to doing that from like VR kind of equivalents and stuff like that as well. And it's obviously much better in VR when you're doing that. But the third-person...
Tim Crowbar in a VR reference there.
Yeah. But the first-person view, like, the frame rate just absolutely chugged. And it just, like, looked absolutely terrible and, like, loads of hang-ups and stuff. So to the point where I couldn't play it in first person, so I had to play it in third person. I don't know if that's an early on in the game thing or something that generally persists, but there was a couple of hang-ups in playing in third person, but in first person it seemed so much worse that I had to stop playing in first person, which was a bit of a shame. And
I have two questions.
Yeah.
One, this is essentially Robot Wars. So is Craig Charles providing any voiceover at any point in this game?
No, there's no Craig Charles.
Boom!
They are much
Worst
bigger walking mechs generally.
It's classic Robot Wars. It's Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, nice.
Yeah. Series 1.
Can you spec having like a power drill on your forehead of your mech and you just like headbutt stuff?
There are melee weapons and there are long range weapons and there are short range weapons and things. And you have to try and that's one of the things you've got to try and get a grip of first of like the balance of weapons that you have that give you like long range and short range. You can also have like weapon groupings where you have like different weapons that fire at once. And that found awkward because somehow I've got my laser and my flamer firing at the same time and they do very different things that I'd prefer them to be separated, and I haven't found a way to do that yet. But yeah, like I'm glad
My second question, Tim, before you carry on. I had two questions and you were flagrantly disregarding my second question.
Made me not do anyway, yeah.
No, I'm going to ask. This one's a relevant question, so strap in. All right. Okay. Strap in, Tim. This is a relevant
question.
Strap
on.
Relevant and good.
Yes. Yeah. 609, the episode with the hole. What? Yes. So the way you control your mech, because my memory of like the Mechwarrior games back in the day on the PC is that you almost had to like control each bit of the robot separately, and it kind of necessitated like proper full-on keyboard maps to keep track of what each bit of your robot was doing. How does that work with a controller? Because obviously your input potential is not as great as a keyboard.
And I'm as you say, I am working with a controller. Like there are two control methods, and I didn't try the other one, which is as you described, where you've got the kind of two halves of the mech that you can move independently. That they refer to as the classic method. I went with something along the lines of like modern or something like that. But I went with the modern one because I thought that would probably be easier on controllers. So I haven't really messed around with the other control method as much, basically.
Okay.
But
I have a question.
Yes.
We're talking about controls.
Yeah.
Is this compatible with a hot ass controller?
Don't know. Mine's on my
seems like
hot
it'd be a good
ass
fit.
or not ass.
Mine is on my PlayStation and isn't compatible with my Xbox as far as I'm aware, so I haven't been able to try that out.
Okay.
Not
I was just getting
was-
Steel Battalion vibes, so I wanted to.
Yeah,
check.
it would be quite good for that. But yeah, like overall, like control wise, I actually quite like the game. Like I think it plays reasonably well in that regard. There's a few things, and I don't know if the performance issues are because I'm playing on an Xbox Series S, and whether that would not be a problem on the X. I don't know. Like that may be the case. But some of the stuff that I think shows the limitations of the Xbox controller when playing the game, to kind of further answer, put a bit more detail to the answer to your question, is that I think that like the rumble isn't as good a feedback as it might be if playing on PlayStation, possibly. Like just that's one of the things where they didn't really invest in this generation of consoles. They didn't really advance the controllers, and I think the haptic feedback on the PlayStation is superior to that. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but it just doesn't feel like there's as much weight to the movement of the mechs, and when they're like you can boost up in the air, and when they're falling back down, it doesn't feel like there's a heaviness to that. Also, you can kind of destroy like buildings and trees and stuff by trampling over them, and that's all fine, but it doesn't feel like there's much weight to the things that you're doing. Like it doesn't feel that there's any feedback to knocking into that stuff as much. And it doesn't feel like your mech interacts with the ground. Being like a really big mech, you would think that there'd be some impact as it hits the earth after flying up into the air from a great distance, and it doesn't feel like there's any. It doesn't disturb the the surrounding kind of soil when you come back down or anything like that. And it feels like it should have that sort of feedback when you're in a big mech, and as such, it feels like you're kind of gliding along the top of the surface rather than kind of interacting with the world a little bit. It's kind of getting into the weeds a little bit on that, but I'm glad I persevered with some of the difficulties I was having with it at first, because once you get into it, it's quite a fun mech game. Like I quite like it to the point where I may go and play Call of Duty, as I was saying this week, but I will definitely come back to this at some point because I enjoyed my time with it so far, basically. Especially if you've got access through Game Pass, and you look like kind of a mech-based game. Once you get past some of its impenetrable stuff, like it is doing some stuff which is quite nice. Some of the upgrades and stuff, I think we're doing stuff. Originally, I wasn't sure why I had a massive amount of money. You got like millions of stuff, and I was spending like a few thousand here or there. And that's one of the things I wasn't sure why I had all that money. Did I need to spend all that money before I went into my first mission or what's going on? But you're kind of upgrading like elements of your base, like how many technicians you have and how quickly they can heal stuff. But then also the main thing that you need that money for is buying new mechs. As you get access to more mechs, they unlock, but then you can buy them. And that cost me like $1.5 million for the first mech that I bought and stuff.
Big
like
spender.
That, yeah.
How much for a racing stripe on one?
They do seem to have a variety of paint jobs that you can just add to things, and that just unlocks as you go throughout the game and stuff as well. So,
Coleman, I did not play this game,
Yes.
but I can loop back to your question before I have the power of the internet. It does.
I
support
also
HOTAS,
looked it up. Only on PC.
Only on PC and VR support on PC as well, Tim. Which should
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Ooh.
So I can see that being quite a fun, immersive thing if you've
that could
got,
be really cool.
got,
Actually,
got the kit. HOTAS plus VR for this, I'd imagine would be quite a lot
Just
of
to
fun.
intercept the impending question from Tim. No, Tim, you can't get the PC's HOTAS and VR support on your Steam Deck.
yeah, no. I could
You
just
could
strap
probably
it to my
get HOTAS
face.
going. You could probably get HOTAS with it if you had a hub. You could probably have HOTAS, but you'd be kind of squinting at the screen.
Well, if you attach if you get the dick dock,
The dick dock, I do
The
love
dick
the
dock.
which acts as
Knitted dick
acts as a hub,
right.
and then you also have HDMI output. But could this game run on Steam? We're going to go down a rabbit hole.
Probably, but
Let's
not
let
very
Tim
well,
continue.
I would
Yeah.
imagine. I hear it doesn't. I hear performance on PC is not great for Mechwarrior 5. So
Oh no! What about Steel Battalion?
Make it sound like you care at least, Coleman.
I do.
Oh no! What a
No.
tragedy! This is
Oh,
the worst
no.
thing I've ever heard.
Anyway,
What? Jesus. So Tim, is it how would you recommend people check this out if they've got Game Pass and leave it alone otherwise, or do you reckon?
Yeah. As I said, if you've got Game Pass, definitely worth checking out if you have a passing interest in mech games. Although it does come with the
Passing
slight
interest.
thing that you will have to get past some of its impenetrable kind of options and stuff like that, and do a bit of research aside from the game just to be able to get the best out of it. But yeah, overall the game's fun. I like the world and the stuff they're doing. They got this weird thing where they won't say contractions. Like they think that's unbecoming and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of strange.
So there's right.
But you're, I think, something like is it a Smoke Jaguar is the name of the clan that I joined, and I think it sounds like there's various different clans that might have different backstories and stuff like that. But you're part of like a clan that got expelled or took an exodus away from
you're edgy.
The inner, it's not inner circle, but inner sphere, I think they refer to it as, which is their collection of like homeworld planets.
With extra dimension.
And they were exiled from there or left there, went somewhere else.
There's quite a difference between exiled and left. Exiled's a bit less voluntary than just
well, that's why I'm not entirely sure which one it was, but they for some reason they left and went elsewhere. But now that inner sphere has learnt where their homeworlds are, and so they're preemptive striking them to stop them from coming after their homeworlds, basically. But yeah, like I quite like the world and the setup and the presentation of the story and stuff, and the gameplay's been fun so far. So I will play more of it at some point.
Any other fun clan names that you can remember?
No.
No?
No.
Bit disappointing. I was hoping.
Forrest the Gamer says Smoke Jaguar sounds like a demand more than a clan.
Smoke Jaguar, smoke.
Smoke Jaguar. It's funny because Jaguar Smoke was actually my name in adult entertainment.
What?
So mechs, yeah.
That's
Only
kind of
Coleman's.
where I was going.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Steel Viper, Snow Raven.
Isn't Steel Viper
Stoned
a
Raven?
band?
Hell's Horses,
Hell's
Horses I like.
Goliath, Scorpion.
So far, I've only
Sounds like
fought
some kind of
pirates,
sex
Coleman,
aid.
which you'll be happy with.
Hell's
I like
Horses.
fighting pirates.
Hell's Horses sounds like it's something that Matt Berry would shout out.
Fire
He stubs his
Mandrill
toe.
is another one.
Hell's
Fire Mandrill.
Horses.
Diamond Shark, Cloud Cobra, and
Molotov penguins.
Yeah, I reckon it must be Star Adder.
Can we do a BRB UK clan? Dynamite platypus.
Turgid Vagabond.
Oh, I like that. Striking fear into the hearts of their opponents.
Turgid Vagabond.
Mm.
Flaccid
So this is on
Pizza.
Game Pass, but it's
Mhm.
also you can buy it, right? But if
Yes.
you buy it, it's going to be £44.99.
What?
Slightly cheaper on Steam, but if you get it on Epic Game Store, which is the
Why would you do
cheapest
that?
because they've got because it's £39.69.
Bravo.
And if you put a little zero in between those pennies,
You can slip Jesus in
609.
there.
huh?
You can slip Jesus in there, can't you?
Taking
Here
it
he
back
goes.
round.
Yeah, in he goes. There is room in the inn.
Oh dear.
What?
Well, I'm glad you
Highly
liked your game,
appropriate
Tim.
grown-up humour, Tim. Shall we move
I'm surprised
on?
to.
Yeah, let's
I'm
do that.
surprised to see you weren't playing the latest Batman VR game, Tim, on the PlayStation
Don't
5.
encourage him, damn it.
Because it's not on the PlayStation 5 or the
Oh
PSVR 2.
no!
No, it is a meta,
Again,
but
your
apparently very
sincerity
good.
knows-
Apparently
Your sincerity
Yeah.
knows no bounds, Coleman.
I'm going to pick that up. But I didn't realize until today that the studio is owned by Meta, so you probably won't get it on PlayStation
No.
either.
No.
They bought Camouflage after Iron Man came out, basically. That's why we haven't had Iron Man on PSVR 2 either. Which is a
I
shame,
mean, that's not
because
big,
I like that game.
It's not a big loss.
No,
It's
not
not.
really,
It
is
is to me.
It's not great. It's not
It
great.
was.
It was a fun little demo, and then when I played the full game, I was actually when I finished the demo, I remember going, "It's not great, but it was fun once you got the hang of it." But I wouldn't want to play a whole game of this. And then I got
I
the whole
liked it
game for
more
my
than you did.
birthday, and I really struggled with that game. It just looked horrible. I like the opening when you're flying through sky and trying to stop the plane crashing, or you're saving people from a plane crashing. But the rest of it just looked like jagged arse.
I think you
Jagged
harsher on the game
arse.
than I was.
Jagged
also a clan
arse.
name in
Yes,
Mechwarrior.
yes.
Clan
actually
Jagged
the,
Arse.
It's actually the third-party knockoff version of HOTAS.
Hotub or jagged ass.
Yeah, jagged ass.
Nice. Well, I haven't filed down the plastic bits out the factory.
Like the old Amiga controllers when you get a million knockoffs and they're all too sharp and horrible to play with. Yeah.
Not nice.
Yeah.
Jagged ass is what it is.
Jagged ass. Jagged ass. Glad we've got a title name.
And so am I. Rather than 609, episode with a hole, I think is.
Save room for Jesus. I've been playing a game. Any interest?
Go on then. This is probably. I think you played quite a wholesome game to, not as in 6-0, not in that kind of hole, but a wholesome game to restore balance to the force of this episode. You've been playing Neva, I understand.
Neva.
Which is Games as Art a Palooza. It actually looks
Neva
quite
or
lovely,
Neva?
this game.
I think it's neither.
First question.
It's neither.
Neither.
Neva. It's not
Neither of
neither.
them.
Neither. Nevu?
Hummus?
Never. Surely? Never.
Anyway,
This game
Neva.
looks lovely, I have to say.
It is lovely.
Yes.
This is by the same team who did Gris, isn't it?
I did not know that.
I
but
pointed that
I've been
out to
trying
you on this very podcast, Mr. Coleman.
What, today?
No, previously. When we brought the
Okay,
game
I
up.
do forget things. I'm trying to
Yes,
remember when
you
we
do.
saw this. Was this in one of the Nintendo Directs or something?
I think so.
Yes, or a showcase of some
Okay.
description. One of those things.
Yeah, it's clearly been stuck in my mind. I must have wishlisted it then because I've got, although I have noticed Steam's latest feature of they just recommend you stuff that isn't in your wish list, send you pop-ups
cheeky.
that you would normally. Yeah, so it's like, good news, this game is now available. I don't remember wishlisting that. Oh, maybe I did. I'll just buy it. Oh, wait, I didn't wishlist this at all. Sneaky Steam.
Sneaky,
Sneaky.
sneaky Steam.
I'm assuming I wishlisted this, but it told me. I picked it up. I was very happy. From the trailer, I was getting kind of Studio Ghibli vibes, which I was joking with a man called Rick about this. I liked the kind of way he put it. Is like, hey, do you want to play a video game that looks like Studio Ghibli? Which one? Yes. So, yeah, pretty good. It's got a little bit of Princess Mononoke vibes. It's got a little bit of Spirited Away vibes, and you have a young girl that you're playing as who lives in the forest and is friends with a very large wolf and a very small wolf cub. And
There are two
suddenly
wolves inside
darkness
you.
two wolves, not
Ah!
inside you,
Jesus,
not
Tim.
inside you, with you.
No,
Don't know where you
Jesus
got that
goes
from.
there. We've already
Jesus is
established
not
this.
a wolf.
Yes. But you're living your happy little life, and then suddenly, oh no, darkness approaches.
Oh, no.
Darkness approaches and takes over the land.
Why?
So
Why does darkness always do this, Coleman?
Yeah.
So you, alongside your wolfy friends, are fighting the darkness, not the band, and then they end up taking
That would be
down
quite funny.
the mother, taking down the mother wolf and killing them. And no, you have to then look after the little young cub wolf and venture across the world that looks really lovely in this beautiful kind of sort of painted style look to it.
You're saying
in
it's a giant
weird
escort
little-
mission.
No,
Not
it
like that, Tim.
kind of is.
I know
to
you were very
begin
disappointed
with.
when you discovered what escort missions really were.
It kind of feels like that to begin with for the first couple of minutes, but then it very quickly turns around from that.
Okay.
But you're trying to make your way across the land while this darkness keeps catching up with you and spawning enemies for you to fight, or creating some kind of obstacle for you to get past, or creating a gigantic boss for you to fight in weird, soupy goopy looking, black tar looking ways. And it's a very charming little game. I haven't finished it. I was trying to finish it before the show. I was playing today, and I think I'm something like 20 minutes away from finishing, looking at a quick video, trying to gauge where I was and looking at how much was left on the timeline. So I'm not that far out from finishing, but I am really enjoying this. The type of gameplay this is, it's a platformer with very light puzzles to it, but also some combat, which it's less so about, kind of, you got a sword, you swing, you slash, but it's less hacky slashy and more kind of, it's all about timing. You've got jumps
it's more
and rolls.
stabby.
Yes. And that's kind of where the wolf comes in as well, the wolf cub, because when they're a little baby cub, you'll find instances where the bad guys will appear and the wolf will get scared and you kind of have to comfort it, or it will have trouble with getting past a particular platform because there's an obstacle in the way, so you have to clear the obstacle.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you stumbled into crafts by mistake? This is sounding a lot like teaching your dog tricks.
Definitely not crafts.
Okay.
There's more goop monsters in crafts, I think.
More goop monsters, yeah. Oh,
yes, definitely.
They do love those.
I have a question while Dan has interrupted you anyway. Yes, slightly more sensible question.
No, it doesn't have HOTAS support.
No. But so you said the darkness is chasing you. Does that mean you're doing sort of the platforming in the combat on a sort of timer basis? Is it kind of
in sections?
Yeah.
I don't think it's properly.
It's not my favorite thing.
It's not like it's following you throughout the level. It appears at sections, and I think it's more so it's attacking the place. It's not like following after you or anything.
Right.
But yeah, you do have those moments where you're climbing up a gigantic pillar, and then all of a sudden the ooze starts following you from the bottom of the screen, and you're climbing upwards, and then the platform that you're climbing on starts breaking apart, and then there's different challenges in your platforming. So you've gone from just climbing what looks like a straight path into trying to do a very kind of precise timed platforming mission while this thing's still chasing after you. It's cool. I like it. Anyway, as you progress and the wolf cub starts to grow up, then they become less dependent on you, and you can use they start attacking enemies around you. And then as they start growing older as well, then you can start commanding them to attack enemies on your behalf, which is cool because one of the bosses, you fight this one boss and you're having a bit of trouble with that one boss, and then suddenly a second one appears. It's like, okay, now they're both on each side of the screen. It's going to take me ages to beat these. Oh, wait, I remember I can kind of command my wolf to attack one while I attack the other one. And it's that stuff is pretty cool as it unlocks along the way. It's not a particularly long game. I think if you're particularly, if you know your way around a platformer and a puzzle game, then you will likely be done with this in, 4 hours probably. It's not a long one. I will say it's because it is available on all the platforms. You can get it on PC, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Nintendo Switch. And unlike a lot of games that are available on a lot of platforms and you usually kind of have to downgrade for the Switch, or if you don't, it's kind of like the Plucky Squire when you get out the book and into the real world. It starts to chug a bit on the Nintendo Switch because it does on everything else, but particularly more on the Switch. This one, I don't think you're going to have any kind of issue like that because this is probably the only game I've put on my Steam Deck, and I've done my hour-and-a-half commute to work and not had to charge it the other side so I could then play it on the way home. It is not very power intensive at all, which I've really enjoyed because I've been playing this game for 3 days and not had to charge my Steam Deck once, which was really, really nice.
Nice. I have a question. Yes. This is a very important question. Is there a button to pet the wolf?
There is.
Excellent.
Ooh.
Is it a dedicated button to pet the wolf?
Dedicated wolf button.
Game of the year.
It's actually a multifunctional button because with the top button, so it's the Y on the Xbox and the triangle on the PlayStation. I forget what it is on the Switch. When you press down the Y button, you start either petting the wolf or hugging the wolf, just comforting the wolf or thanking the wolf. But if you're further away and you hit the Y button, it's calling the wolf towards you as well. Which when they're much younger. Oh, sorry. The reason it's called, I keep saying the wolf. Neva is the name of the wolf cub. That's why it's called Neva.
Now we know the name of the game.
Yes. So you have moments
neither
of,
or neither.
especially Neva.
Really, Tim?
So you'll have moments of like an obstacle being in the way. You clear the obstacle, and the wolf cub is just kind of Neva's just kind of sat there waiting, and you call her over, and then she'll come to you. I assume it's a she, and then they come over to you.
Very presumptive.
I assumed gender. My apologies. Of a fictional wolf character. Anyway, really good game. $16.99 on everything except for the Switch. It's $17.99. You've got to get that Nintendo tax in somewhere. A bit crazy paying for a lesser platform, but
wow, look at you being all judgmental today. First you're assuming the genders, and now they're looking down your nose at people. Very nice, Coleman. I see.
Yes.
Lovely.
I really enjoy it. It's a artsy-fartsy type game, as Kev likes to call them, but I enjoy them. I didn't... so when I started, I was playing with headphones in and listening to all the soundtrack and the noises
Which
and
I
stuff.
hear is
And that
wonderful.
stuff, it is absolutely wonderful. And then I switched to listening to podcasts while I was playing as well, because I was like, yeah, I get it. Whimsical. Lovely.
Wow. Someone slaved long and hard to do that soundtrack.
They do, yes.
And
When
you're
I
like,
play
oh,
it-
no, I want to listen to knob jokes on my podcast. Thanks.
When I was learning, when I do a second playthrough on the desktop, then I'll probably play again with headphones in. But I
Good.
kind of found when I
I
was
bloody well hope
playing
so.
when I was playing on the Steam Deck, I get worried I'm going to fall asleep because I do tend to nod off on the tube, and I was worried someone might like see me nodding off and then just run off with the Steam Deck,
Oh no.
as people tend to do on the tube. You know, if you're not
No,
paying
I don't
attention,
think
your
it's
phone's
quite
out your
that
hand.
bad, is it?
Have you not seen? There's videos online where you'll have one person kind of looking at their phone and they're leaning by the door on the tube, and someone will just put their hand in across the door and take it as it's shutting.
That's actually how Coleman lost his hair, Dan. So don't take the piss.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really? So someone just was it Jimmy Carr was walking by? Thought I need me some hair.
that's why
Yep.
he looks like that now.
Yeah. He's wow. I'm so sorry, Coleman. I had no idea.
Well, I knew it was him because as the doors were shutting on the tube and I was trying to figure out what happened to my hair, I could faintly hear the in the background.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think
Anyway,
we'll leave that while we're done played there. Then I think
Yeah. Neva, recommend from me.
excellent.
Out now.
Out now on things.
Mm.
Um,
On things. Everything's.
all of the things.
All of the current things.
All of the current.
Before you
Lovely.
start saying like Atari 2600.
God damn it,
Evocade.
ruining my fun again.
That's not a current thing.
Shall we talk about
How
the
dare
news?
you?
Shall we talk about the news?
That's a
Tim?
novelty
Back in
toy.
the room. Back in the room, Tim. Back in the room. Shall we talk about the news? The news.
Yeah,
New
let's do
things,
that.
Tim.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Before it gets old.
Let's just finish the episode early.
I'm up for that. I'm up for that, to be blunt.
It's going to be a pretty quick news because even though our agenda looks pretty long, it's not the most intensive news this week. The first one is that Bethesda announced that they were going to do their first ever Fallout Day, which was on
Wow.
October the 23rd, which they very early on prefaced that there is not going to be an announcement of Fallout 5. This is all going to be to do with Fallout 76.
More like letdown day, am I right?
So obviously a lot of angry fans were online screaming that there wasn't an announcement for Fallout 5 after the video, which, what do you want?
But they
Fallout
threw
5,
some
I
new
mean,
stuff into
Fallout 5 by the
76,
sound of
didn't
it.
they?
Yeah, so they started off... Did you watch the video? It's actually pretty good. And I'm not a Fallout 76 fan.
I briefly skimmed it.
So this was kind of... It made me kind of miss E3 because it was very cheesy and silly and I liked it. But they were doing it starts off with a ghoul working in Bethesda Studios and everyone being like, yeah, he's good at his job, but he stinks of death. And he's like,
Wow.
it's not pleasant to be around, but he's really good at his job.
I'm sure someone in HR would have someone to say something about that, wouldn't they? Can't talk about
Yeah.
people like that.
No, it was very it was very silly and I really, really liked it. And there was the woman that was presenting the video, she ends up turning into a ghoul partway through, so that was pretty good. But that's all in reference to the update coming to Fallout 76, where for the first time in a Fallout series, you'll be able to play as a ghoul.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's coming early 2025. And when you play as a ghoul, you'll get some perks and some disadvantages for doing so. So you won't be affected by rads anymore. So that's pretty good. But there will be NPCs that will automatically just attack you because you're a ghoul.
Oh.
But you can have, I think you get like increased strength and there's special cards and combat things that you wouldn't normally have. The guy that was narrating mentioned ripping the face off, having the ability to rip the face off a Deathclaw in
Nice.
combat, which, yeah, that sounds cool.
Oh.
And have they kind of tied it in at all with the Fallout TV series? Because obviously,
No,
They have
the
a dog.
mention of, the mention was that they've got a silly amount of players on the game now. 20 million players on Fallout 76.
yeah,
That's too many players.
Well, they congratulated that part of that they said would be to do with the Prime TV series. And then they mentioned, so I think 3 characters were made from the TV series and put into Fallout Shelter, and they were like limited drops. And they're doing a thing where they've gone, right, all those characters that were limited drops, you could just now get them between this date and this date. So that was the only real mention of the TV show that they're looking forward to season 2 as we are, and the characters are in Fallout Shelter. And then back to Fallout 76, the more recent updates. The first one is going to be on the 29th of October. They're going to add pets to your camp. So you can have a cat and a dog. You can pet the dog and cat, Dan.
Yay.
Excellent. Is there a dedicated button?
I have no idea.
Probably not.
Worst game of the year if there isn't.
Oh, no. You can dress them up.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. Give them little
hat.
Bolt Dweller
Have you ever
suits.
tried to dress a cat up? They will murder you to death.
Several times.
Some of them like it. You can see
No,
the ones
they
in the
don't.
lion's
They
mane
tolerate
things.
it.
They like
They
that.
don't love it. They don't think, oh, don't I look fabulous? They're like, oh, bloody humans, all right. If I just
I
stay
saw
still,
a video
they'll
of
stop
a
it.
cat going to collect its costume, little, lion's mane thing, and put it on. And apparently they did that every day because they liked wearing it.
Really? Did
So
they
here's the thing.
it in tuner? Probably.
They're
Possibly.
actually playing the video in reverse, and the cat hates the mane.
Yeah.
And they also walk backwards
trying to
everywhere they
reverse
go.
out of it. What happens?
Yeah. I got Frodo some bat wings because I thought he'd look cute in them. And then they turned up and they were too small for him.
Aw.
Made for a much smaller
Poor old
cat.
chunky Frodo.
He's not that big. He's like a normal cat size. So
It's quite
who
big.
knows? Anyway, sorry, back to this. You could also get special new furniture for the cats, for the pets. So you could have like a pile of dirt that the dog has been digging a bone.
Oh, how
or you can
generous
have
of you. A pile of dirt.
Or
a whole pile of dirt.
a scratch post for the cat and other things. And they did
That's
insinuate that there's going to be other pets coming forward, some that may not be as furry and cuddly. I want a pet Deathclaw. I want a Deathclaw. I want a Where's my Deathclaw? Where's my Deathclaw?
With like the stuff for the cat that you can buy, the cat furniture, it makes a point of not using any of the stuff you buy for it. That'd be like true cat furniture if you got that.
Mm-hmm. Scratches the thing next to it.
Yep. Sits in the box it came in.
Mm-hmm.
There's also going to be a raid coming to the game called Gleaming Depths, where you set upon an abandoned Enclave research lab. To get to there, you have to be level 300 plus, and you're going to need a squad of up to 4 players to get by in that raid.
Sounds fun.
Yes. It seems like they've done a lot of work to Fallout 76 in the 6 years since it's been out. I felt so old when I heard that.
Wowzers.
It didn't feel like that. Doesn't feel like that long ago we were making fun of the special edition tote bag.
Yeah.
Remember the tote
Wow,
bag?
That is true, actually. Or Tim buying his Pip-Boy smartphone thing.
That was even
that's
longer
Fallout
ago.
4.
Yeah.
That's longer. That's 100 years ago, Dan.
Do you know what? I
It's
remember
100 years ago.
getting excited
Makes
about
you
playing
old.
Destiny's Alpha on this show, and that was like 12 years ago now. Jesus.
Had to rope in a bit of Destiny, hey?
Yeah, I had to. But that's not all that's been in the news, is it, Coleman?
No, there was a showcase for Monster Hunter Wilds, which is coming next year, I believe. It is next year, isn't it? Yes, good. Looking forward to that. That's coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. But you'll be able to play in the open beta for Monster Hunter Wilds next week. That is going to be available on the 29th of October at 3 a.m. BST. But only for PlayStation 5 players, and you have to be a PlayStation Plus subscriber to get in.
That's kind of fair enough.
I think I might try
I'm
this. Not at 3
accidentally
a.m.
subscribed to the premium level for another year after forgetting to cancel it after plugging Spire. So.
Welcome to PlayStation Plus Ultra Max Wide Load Edition.
It's like,
it's only going to last for 2 days. The early beta as well. So I'm going to see if I can give that a try because that's just before our podcast next week. So hopefully I can report back next week.
Okay,
please do.
This is one that I thought was kind of interesting. So first of all, we got reports that the team behind the latest Prince of Persia game, The Lost Crown, they'd actually been kind of split up and they're not dedicated on a sequel, even though they pitched a sequel and were reportedly given the reason that a sequel's not a good idea because it would detract from sales of the original. Sorry?
Wow.
That's
not
the
some
way it
business,
works.
big brain thinking right there.
I don't know about you, but if someone announces a sequel to a game I've not played and the sequel looks particularly good, I'll buy the original game and try beat it before the sequel comes out. So, I don't know what the logical thinking there is, or if logical at all. I think they're just making excuses for the heck of it. But they've apparently split that team up and moved them around into different projects like Beyond Good and Evil 2, the next Ghost Recon game.
That's never coming out.
They've got a new director on Beyond Good and Evil 2. I think it got halted because the last director passed away last year, so they've had to find a new one this year. And also,
that's some method directing. He's truly Beyond Good and Evil, isn't he?
But also, Michel Ancel was involved in Beyond Good and Evil 2, and for reasons I don't think they are anymore. But so apparently some of this team has been put behind the next Rayman video game, which was reported as a Rayman remake. Then
a remake, if you will.
A remake, and then Kotaku got in contact with Ubisoft, and one of their representatives came back to say that they are pleased to confirm that Ubisoft Montpellier and Ubisoft Milan they have recently started an exploration phase on the Rayman brand.
You didn't know where to deploy the French accent there, did you? An exploration?
I was trying not to. My tongue just got stuck in the back of my teeth, looking for stuff.
Or exploration?
Accidentally Frenchied a bit.
Anyway, they're looking.
You did it again. Anyway.
Basically, we are in the early stages of looking at Rayman. But
and that is where Jesus goes. Thank you.
So it was also reported that creator of Rayman, Michel Ancel, is involved in the new project, which Kotaku also tried to clarify. And they said, yeah, of course he's involved because he's the creator. We have to run things by him. They didn't say what level of involvement he has. I just thought that was interesting because, as reported on this show 4 years ago, Ancel departed from Ubisoft because, he said that he was leaving the games industry for a while because of he wanted to open up a wildlife sanctuary and just wanted to get away from the games industry. And then that was very swiftly followed up by allegations that he's under investigation because of behavior that led to a toxic workplace condition, which he's since come back out and said that that's fake news, but he's kept a very low profile since then.
Right. The go-to excuse of people who are really telling the truth, they just say, no, fake news.
Yeah,
fake news.
Fake
news.
So, I mean, sometimes it might be because it's fake news, but it's not.
I do want to point out innocent till proven guilty,
yes,
and we haven't heard anything else about this since.
No. But the term
Ubisoft being Ubisoft, you don't know something swept under the rug or not.
Yeah, Ubisoft's track record of actually finding people guilty through thorough investigation is fairly questionable. Also, do you think this whole headline, we're exploring a new Rayman game, smacks of we need our share price to jump back up, please? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems suspicious timing in relation to
I don't know, because I don't know about Rayman, the character themselves, but the brand of the rabbits, which are in the Rayman universe, they are stupidly popular around Europe.
Yes.
I saw this in Paris. I saw this in Rome. They've just got flipping rabbits everywhere. Like they put them in kids' meals and stuff in fast food places. I see them on adverts and things. They are incredibly popular. So,
they're kind of like lovable little rogues, aren't they? I suppose they're a bit like minions, aren't they?
Yeah,
really.
Very much like minions.
Yeah.
They've got that kind of lovable
I
idiocy
prefer them
about
to minions.
Well,
being
anti-yellow people now, yeah?
Whoa, that's a stretch.
I was going to hit a drop there. I'm not going to. I've decided better.
Okay. Yeah. Go Simpsons reference rather than where you were going. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of a Simpsons reference. Yeah, we'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely a quote from
See
Simpsons.
what button you were reaching for on the soundboard there, Coleman.
That's right. It was the Alex Kidd death noise.
Yes.
Anyway,
Hey!
that was a long way to go to say I really like the Rabbids. I'll never apologize for that. Last bit of the news, and this one's a bit of a follow-up from, 2-3 weeks ago we were talking about this, or you guys were talking about this. I had COVID. Fntastic, who spell their name in a very silly way.
Fantastic.
Wow.
You may know them from such projects as The Day Before. Remember The Day Before, guys?
God, unfortunately, I do. But
Like it was
it's
yesterday.
bad.
I heard it was good, but I heard that there was lots of fake news around that, and that everyone was just
Fake
out
news.
to get them, and they had to, and it was very unfair the way they were treated. And their only way to redeem themselves was to have what they billed as a highly likely and a fantastically ambitious Kickstarter campaign. Tell me, how much did the Kickstarter campaign raise, Coleman? Because I'm expecting good things from this Kickstarter campaign.
If you're talking about the Kickstarter for the next game, The
Yeah.
Escape Factory,
Uh-huh.
they put out for a $20,000 goal, and they managed
Right.
to raise $3,146, which is 15.73 of their Kickstarter goal. Percent of
Oh,
their
dear.
Kickstarter goal, sorry.
Well,
That's at least 15% more than they deserved.
Yeah, well, I'd imagine at least $3,145 of those probably came from the pockets of the brothers Fntastic themselves. So,
Yeah, possibly. But speaking
Allegedly.
of things they deserved, I'm disappointed I didn't get more reaction to Coleman saying, "Do you remember the day before?" And I said, like it was yesterday, and got nothing from either.
Because Dan spoke over you, I think.
I know,
yeah, and
I know.
also it was rubbish.
Yeah.
Come on, it's pretty good.
That's not really though, is it?
It's okay.
Anyway,
It's not
Fntastic
something- a
announced... Titter. Hold on. Wait. Let's
I
do
got
this
more
properly. He's
a
gonna
laugh from Coleman for the word titter. That is
Yeah.
I
disrespectful.
think that tells you a lot, doesn't it? I think.
Hold
that
on,
tells you a
Dan.
lot,
He's
Tim.
he's going to sulk otherwise. Hold on. Tim,
All
do you
right,
remember the day before?
Like it was yesterday.
There you go.
That was really insincere, Dan.
Really? Was it? I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Got a rim shot.
609.
I love that story.
Anyway,
That's over the
yeah,
hole.
in the same breath as them announcing that they have cancelled the Kickstarter and they're no longer making Escape Factory, they announced that they're
Right.
making a different game instead.
Oh, when will they learn?
Don't bother. Give up. Go home. I wouldn't say that normally, but you don't deserve success in this industry. Leave it alone.
Mhm.
Yeah, but well, there's no Kickstarter
Go
announced.
crypto scams or something.
Yeah. Oh, and I do have to correct you a little bit. Last time, Dan, you said that there was a Kickstarter behind the day before. There wasn't. They just released it.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
everyone thought it was it was going to be some kind of Kickstarter scam, but they just released the game, people bought the game, and then they cancelled the game, and then they refunded the game. So they didn't actually make any money out of it at all.
It's very odd.
There was a lot of hype for it, though, wasn't there? And I think
There's-
people were
there's-
disappointed because of
There's
that.
definitely something shady behind the scenes at Fntastic, but at the same time, they must be the worst scam artists if that was their scam.
Unless it was they were raising VC money and they got
Maybe.
the investment in it, and then
Possibly.
that way they still
Maybe.
get grounds of that if it gets declared insolvent. Anyway, allegedly,
Allegedly, they said they might return to the crowdfunding route or explore other options once the demo for the game is made. So,
wow.
that is another thing with Kickstarter. You have to prove that you've got a product on the go before you can't just go,
Yeah.
I've got an idea for a product like you could in the early days of Kickstarter. You do actually have to prove that it is a actual thing you're doing now.
I mean,
a
I'd say
prototype of some
fantastic. They're
kind.
not short of self-belief, are they? Because I mean, they say your wishes are very important to us, and I think if our wishes truly were important to
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
Fntastic, you bugger off. But they think that their next project items is this is exactly what many of you have been waiting for. Their words,
No.
not
Yes.
mine.
I
It's
have
not.
been waiting for another. I've been waiting for the day after. I want the sequel to the game we never got.
I just
Or
want
got
the
for
day.
2 days.
It's what I want. I want not the day before, not the day after. I just want the day. Is what I want.
The day,
The day.
the new day.
Day to day.
The best quote I thought. So they were talking about crowdfunding and Steam things as well, but they said development will require significant resources. Fntastic has decided to release mobile games to support the process of making their new game.
Brilliant.
And then this is the bit I like. All funds generated from these apps will go into development. We believe this will help us create the game of your dreams.
Wow. What
Yes.
What nice guys. What nice guys. Not at all deluded at all.
They're going to make a video
Right.
game where I'm running around naked and I'm terrified and I've got to hand my school homework in and all my teeth fall out. Good.
Good.
And you were there. And you were there.
What was I doing? Why are you dreaming
I
of me,
know.
weirdo?
Just click
You
your
knocked
heels
his
together,
teeth
Dan.
out and stole his
Clicking
hair.
3 times.
Now,
There's no place
running
like
around
home.
in his pants.
No
Going,
place like
I can do
Slough."
this, you can't. Naked, no pants man.
That's what they call me.
Yeah, naked, no pants man.
That's all the news
Brilliant.
that we've got time for.
so
I'm a
good.
bit winded from the news.
We did also miss the whole Xbox partner showcase last week, but there really wasn't very much exciting stuff in it. No, I thought it was a bit disappointing overall.
That's why we missed it.
What I would just like to do a little nod to, though, is a game that refuses to die in the most wonderful way. It's like the exact opposite of the day before.
Destiny.
No, well, that's I think that's on life support at the moment. No Man's Sky, brand new update.
Oh,
Loads
yeah.
of stuff to
Woo!
do. Boss fights, all kinds of goodies. Brand new expedition. Gonna check that out.
That's got to be coming up to 10 years. Sure.
Way
How long's
over
that
it.
been going?
It was PS4 announcement, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Launch. PS4 launch.
Yeah, I remember.
think.
I remember it. I remember
Oh.
playing it.
That's a long time ago. Long time ago. I'm going to look that up now because that's going to bother me.
Galaxy far, far away. Because there's no Man's Sky.
I don't know when that came out. It's going to bother me. It's going to bother me, Coleman. It's going to bother
I think
me.
it was a
Bother
Thursday.
you.
It was the 12th of August, 2016. Not quite 10 years yet.
Oh,
Well,
8
that's on
years.
PC.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
No, it came out on PS4 before,
Or
didn't it?
before that, yeah.
It was a- Timed exclusive. I reckon it's 9 years old. I like this game. Hi, audience. How are you?
I'm
good?
great, thanks.
Good.
Wikipedia says August 2016.
Dang.
Oh.
All right. Stick
Suck
with
it.
that. Suck it.
It's 8 years old. Still,
Suck my procedurally generated dingaling. Anywho,
Shall-
we
I'd rather not.
Give me that weenie.
we are going to wrap this show up because we should. But not before I extol you the virtues of going to tpublic.com/store/BRB and buying things with my face on it. Things with my face are available there. You should buy all of them. Quick update, Tim. How many things with my face on have we sold this week?
I believe the current total
Uh-huh.
is
Yep.
0.
Wait, do you
My
want
thing
to just
with my
check the
face on.
books? Do an update.
Yep. Yeah.
Live update.
Live
Tim.
update.
Live update, Tim.
I'll check behind the scenes. I believe
Is it still 0?
the computer says no.
I think it's my
Did we
face,
sell
isn't it?
anything this week?
I'm not
That's
sure
the-
we did.
So I sold. So
no, I think we got some money
things
for
with
last
my
month.
face
I'm not
on
sure we sold anything this week.
comprised
But,
100% of our sales, is what you're
but
saying.
it is currently 35% off. So it'd be
Again?
a good time to buy something.
With
Wow,
my
how do
face on
they
it.
ever make any
Same.
money?
I don't
all
know.
these
Well, we
sales.
don't.
Well, yeah, we
Wow.
make 35% less when it's the 35% off sale. But
Come on,
it is a good
everybody,
time
let's-
to buy stuff.
Let's all
Yeah.
go to tpublic.com/store/BRB and spend with reckless abandon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But only on things
do
with my
that.
face on.
Only on things with
tpublic.com/store/BRB.
Do you know what? I might get a Dan shirt.
Please do.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Can I get a Dan hoodie? Is there a Dan hoodie, Tim?
I'm sure there's a damn face
think there
mask,
is,
there's a
yeah.
damn baby grow, there's a damn mug.
I'm not getting a
there's-
baby grow, Dan.
Yeah,
The neighbours will question it.
Don't grow a baby Dan. Don't do that.
Stop trying to put that cat in a baby grow.
I just had an image of you trying to fit in the baby grow. That was a truly horrendous image.
It's part of that dream I had. Don't worry, Fntastic's making a game about it.
And somewhere there's some fan fiction being written right now that terrifies me to the core of my very soul.
Oh,
That
God,
would
no.
require fans.
Anyway, Tabletop Tuesday, Tim, tell us about Tabletop Tuesday. What's happening
Tabletop
on top
Tuesday-
of tables this Tuesday?
Is an extra special event this week. For anyone who doesn't know, each and every Tuesday, or most Tuesdays at least, we have a different feature game. You play that feature game that evening, you have a chance of winning a copy of the game at the end of the evening. This week, this coming Tuesday on the 29th of October is our Halloween special. And it's extra special this week because we have not one, but 2 games, both themed around aliens. And so we'll be having an alien-themed night. One game is around the original Alien, Fate of Nostromo is the name of the game. And the other game is Aliens, based on the second movie. And is, I think it's A Hard Day in the Corpse is the surname, but it's a kind of miniatures-based game.
I think
that's awesome. Not only have we got
a corpse is something entirely different to me.
Yeah, not only have we got the base game of that though, we've also got all the expansions, which includes like one of the bigger expansions, which is one of the good name. It's Get Away From Her, You Bitch, which hopefully Coleman won't have to bleep out.
I will.
And then all the other expansions that go with that. It's like a huge prize. We've got like more than £100 worth of prizes this week. Definitely worth coming along for. It's going to be fun. Costumes are optional. You don't have to come in a costume, but you're welcome to do so. Some
Coleman
people
will
are.
be there in a baby
I
clothes.
will be there in my alien-themed costume, so that should be fun as well.
I have a
and-
question.
Elongated head.
Yes.
Is this an on-brand alien costume, or is this you just painting your face cream with some dealy boppers?
You shall see. I will produce photos subsequently, but I will not spoil the surprise beforehand.
That's next week's cover sorted.
Yep. But then also, the Alien Inebriation cocktail, which was a previous cocktail on the menu for loading, will also be making
with the
an
egg.
appearance on the evening. It's got a kind of Kinder egg in a cocktail glass. It looks very cool. It's a cool little cocktail. It'll be making a comeback just for that evening, or I think it's actually for another event that's going on as well. So there'll be a couple of events at loading
So you
that
just
will
piggybacked
make
it.
an appearance at, but that will be
Classic
making an appearance
kids.
at our event as well. So that will be available on a limited time only. So yeah, it should be a really fun alien themed evening. If you're into your board games or you're into Alien, definitely want to come join us for. And yeah, lots of prizes on offer as well. So a really good one. If you want more details, you can do so on the panel that's on the right hand side of bigredbarrel.com. There'll be more details there for Tabletop Tuesday. Or you can join the nearly 2,200 people we have in our meetup group. Search for Tabletop Tuesday on meetup.com, or just come along to the loading bar in Stoke, Newington this Tuesday, the 29th of October.
And if just each of you in the meetup group could donate £1, then that will pay my bar bill over at the loading bar in Stoke, Newington. Thank you.
Still not paid it, have you?
That's why I don't go there anymore. Tabletop Tuesdays available over at the loading bar in Stoke, Newington. Be there. More information on bigredbarrel.com. Also, that Aliens cocktail is very Instagrammable if that's your thing. Very take a photo and put it on the gram, as the kids say. Probably.
On the gram.
Do that.
In the gram. Not
In
on the
the
gram,
gram?
in the gram. In the gram, Dan.
In the gram.
In the ground.
Go-gurt, Dan. It's yogurt on the go. Go-gurt in tubes.
It's not a thing.
Anyway, if you've enjoyed this show, do you know
I
you get cat
haven't.
yogurts?
You shouldn't
Okay.
be cat yogurt.
Cat
Quite a
yogurt.
It's
lot
not
of
actual
lactose
yogurt.
No,
intolerant.
don't do that.
That is a one-way ticket to Browntown if you give
No,
cat
it's
yogurt,
like a
I
very
tell you.
it's like a very thin meat paste, like a yogurt consistency. Comes in tubes. The cats lick it. It's funny, cute. Makes them stink something horrible when they go to the toilet though.
That's why you put it in their mouth, not their ass.
That's what I'm doing wrong. RSPCA's coming back.
Yeah.
There's a cat and a baby, half a baby grow on, covered in yogurt and some bat wings that
And
don't
some
fit.
foil sticking out of its ass. I'm just trying to feed it a treat.
If you've enjoyed this show, what the hell is wrong with you? What's your major malfunction? But we love you all the same. Be sure to go to bigredbarrel.com. That is the website we reside. We hold our podcast there. We've got reviews and previews and articles and podcasts and things. Go see things, stuff, things, bigredbarrel.com. It's red. Look at it. It's going to move. And while you're there, make sure to check out the links to our social medias. We are available on X, Threads, and Facebook at Big Red Barrel. You can also find us on Twitch at Big Red Barrel and YouTube, Big Red Barrel TV. If you could, thank you very much. And also we have a link there to our Discord, which it's better to find the link either on the website, bigredbarrel.com, or in the show notes, or you can try and decipher what the link is by Dan reading it out phonetically.
Discord.com/invite/Muntuhafwa.
Okay, if you work that out,
Muntuhafwa.
then you might also be dressed as an alien down the loading bar with Tim.
Muntuhafwa.
Also, you can give us a review. That'd be nice.
Please do.
Whatever podcast platform you are listening to us on, make sure to give us a review if you've not already. It helps us jump up in the algorithm, and other people can hear us, and we feel all good and warm inside that we get reviews off of people. Thank you very much.
Do I get to be in the gram if the algorithm?
We haven't put anything on Gram for a while. Why am I calling it Gram now? Instagram for a while, Dan. So,
wow. So we're still not down with the kids.
No,
I am.
I Instagram stuff about Tabletop Tuesday every week, but you know.
Yeah, but that's on your Instagram, not on Big Red Barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, Tim.
I send photos of food that I'm going to eat or events I've gone to. Doesn't mean it's particularly helping with Big Red Barrel, does it?
No.
Also, I think the last thing we posted on Instagram was a small video I did at EGX last year. Not getting any of that this year. We're not going.
No.
Nope.
No. Neither am I.
No. We're protesting.
No. Yeah.
But please, but to cut long story short, if you do like what you've listened to, leaving a review is a lovely way to make us feel warm and fuzzy inside. Like Wild Hamsters did. They left a review, and Coleman's internet sleuths went and found it, and they gave us a glorious 5 stars. Jaguar a barrel last fight from start to finish, and just a very lovely, nice little happy review that made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Wild Hamsters, thank you very much.
Speaking of Richard Gere, let's get this show wrapped up and get out of here.
Just before we do, I added it very late to the agenda, but I meant to put in a contributors plug for this week as well. So I have put the link, which Coleman can hopefully add to the show notes. But just to say that friend of the site, Chris Shooter, has been posting stuff under the name of Skuhtulhu on distrokid.com, and describes it as Lovecraftian metal. So yeah, there's some musical stuff by one of our contributors this week. So go and check that out by Chris Shooter. He's done good stuff for the site and has recently done a review for us as well. And will be writing more for the site, but he also does musical stuff. So go check that out too.
Hi, Chris Shooter. I did listen to your music, and once again, I had to listen on Spotify, which I don't use because it wasn't available on YouTube Music, which I do use. So, but I did listen. It's very good. I liked it. I wanted to put it in the show, but I forgot to ask.
So if you say yes, can't want to put it in the show.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then
you
we'll
might say
get
no.
copyright striked.
We get copyright strikes anyway because I keep playing the theme to Dan on the live stream.
Not
in the finished version, though.
Yeah, I think we should probably wrap this show up because we've talked for far too long enough. Thank you for joining us, those of you who joined us live, which you can do so every week that we remember to press the go live button, which is most weeks. But thank you for listening to us in any other format or indeed seeing us on YouTube too. Yes, Coleman.
Dan!
What?
I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
Flummoxed you, didn't it? Thank you very much for listening to us. Go to all the places that Coleman said. And all that's really left to do is for me to remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
Funny joke name. I've completely forgotten what we've been talking about this week. Oh, Jaguar Smoke. I've been Jaguar Smoke.
I really
Smoking Jaguar.
Don't put
Smoke
Jesus up
Jaguar.
there. I thought it was where you were going to go.
I've been Jesus.
Smoke Jesus Jaguar.
So thank you so much, one and all. We'll be back next week. And until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
are quite welcome. For the podcasting goodness that you just heard, why not roll on over to BigRedBarrel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.
And then we had Fighters, which did very, very well because of Evo, because it was more of a straight fighting type game.
And flagrant use of the letter Z, because as we all know, that makes stuff cool.
It does. And X makes everything extreme.